Hey ladies and gentlemen, it's Michael. So I had a different topic planned today, but because Jake Paul for 2 days straight has taken his call out of Conor McGregor to a borderline disrespectful level, it has the combat sports world talking and getting really upset. So why not talk about it? It's good for the algorithm, good for the channel. Let's do it. Now, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't pissed at first, because obviously I want to see the fight between Conor McGregor and Dustin Poirier get the promotion it deserves. But you know what? I thought about it and I'm not that mad at second thought, because Jake Paul is doing something that a lot of fighters are not willing to do, and that is forcing something to happen irregardless of consequences. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, Jake Paul is finding creative ways to get people talking about him boxing Conor McGregor, despite the fact that if we're really being real, then Jake Paul has a slim chance of getting out the first round, let alone actually winning the matchup. And by slim, I mean 0.0000000000000000000
6.5 hours later.
1% chance of actually getting out the first round. And before anyone says it's because he's an insufferable trash talker, that's actually not what I think is drawing people in. Because ladies and gentlemen, if promotion was just about trash talking, then a pre-injuries Dominic Cruz and Cynthia Calvillo would be household names. But they're not. See, it always has been, and it's always about being interesting, and that's what Jake Paul is being. That is what fighters should learn from Jake Paul. Don't do anything run-of-the-mill or mundane or have some contrived call-out, but be interesting, be fun with it. For example, Jake Paul could have just released a regular-looking video of him saying the exact same thing to Conor McGregor, but no, he made sure to include his car, a cigar, a check, and an Irish flag. In a weird way, it's a more polished version of what Colby Covington was doing when he'd pay those girls to be around him in the videos. That's the blueprint Jake Paul is saying for fighters. The blueprint isn't just to talk smack. The blueprint is, if you're going to talk smack, make sure it's interesting and well done. And message to fighters, honestly, you don't have to talk down on your peers to grow your audience if you can find another way to be interesting. On the same note, a great example of this is guys like Daniel Cormier, because although he isn't necessarily a bad trash talker,
Bader, come on. I asked to fight you. They said, Daniel, what do you want? I said, I want the easiest fight in the division. I want Ryan Bader.
He knows what butters his bread, and that is that he's the funny guy of MMA. Think about like this. Who's more interesting to you? Daniel Cormier or a run-of-the-mill trash talker like Alexander Hernandez? Exactly. So it isn't just about talking trash, it's about when you talk, do you captivate an audience? And the fact is, Jake Paul is captivating an audience. With that being said, trash talk is probably the easiest way to be interesting, so why not? But A, you better hope it gets people to talk about you, and B, you better hope you win, because if you don't, no one cares anymore. And I know someone in the comments is probably gonna ask, why does a fighter have to be interesting? Why can't they just be good at, fighting? And I agree with you 100%, but, well, if you haven't been looking around, guys who are good are not getting that title shot until they become interesting. Guys like Leon Edwards are unfortunately stuck in that weird boat where they're good enough to get a title at some point, but they're not getting that title shot because they don't draw. And unfortunately, the way economics of MMA work, you can't just be a good professional athlete. You have to win the title or build a cult following to make a lot of money. So guys like Leon Edwards would be better off to spend some time building his name through YouTube vlogs, funny videos, well-produced callouts, and other ventures to get his name out there, rather than the typical mundane call-out of a fighter. Not saying he doesn't deserve to get any fight that he asks for, because he's number number 3 in the world at welterweight. But what I am saying is that people don't care. And because people don't care, he's not going to get his title shot. So in that respect, Leon Edwards and other fighters should really sit at the feet of Jake Paul and learn how to promote. Also, completely irrelevant, but it's not like Conor McGregor hasn't said worse things to other fighters. So why are we all of a sudden getting mad when Jake Paul says borderline risky things to Conor? Yeah, he's only 2-0 in boxing against 2 bums. Well, you know, bums in relative to boxing and in combat sports, but he is doing kind of what you need to do to promote a fight, or to get a fight at least. But back to the $1 million question. With all of this, why am I not mad? Well, the answer is that it does make me mad. It 100% makes me mad, but not because Jake Paul is calling out Conor McGregor. The reason why it makes me mad is this is a sport, and like other sports, the prestige should be in being the best, not in being a great self-promoter. Think about it like this. Imagine if the NBA put on money basketball matches where it isn't the best team versus the best team. It's, I don't know, some random NCAA college team facing an NBA team. Would that not make the sport look like a farce? How about the NFL versus the CFL one time? Would that not make the sport look kind of weird if that was treated with the same seriousness as a Super Bowl matchup? So if MMA fans think that MMA is the best sport, a prestigious sport, a sport where the greatest of men and the greatest of women face each other in a battle of wills, then why are we so accepting of a person's trash talk getting them a fight when it should be their skills? All I'm saying is, if this is a sport and it's about competition, then let's act like it. As always, thank you for watching to the end if you did watch to the end. And I'd really appreciate it if you liked, commented, and subscribed. We're really trying to get to 1,000 subscribers so that we can make that sweet money on YouTube. And until next time, I'm Michael from the Leg Kick, and stay safe.